Hi there, so this video is all about audio routing and how I've got the audio set up on all my hardware. So this is sort of in a series of stuff just about how my studio works. So there's one that's just there's a video that's just a quick studio tour, there's one on all the MIDI routing, there's one on how I'm kind of specifically using the iPad with the MIDI. There will be one on this, it may already be up, it depends on the order that you're watching these, on how I use the PC and push to control all of this. This one's just purely about audio routing. So let's just start with the Roland gear first. So basically the MX1 is my my mixer, my main sort of center of my audio. So the TR8 is sending audio just over USB. Okay, so you can see out the back we've just got two MIDI cables and then the USB cable there. So that's going into USB 1 on the MX1. The System 1 is doing the same thing, so that's USB audio going into USB 2. The TB03, which is down there, is also doing audio over USB into the third one. It's also getting its power from that. And then the TB3, which is down here, is also connected, doing audio over USB. So they're all USB audio connections. There's no audio connections with the others. Sorry, with those. Then all the rest are basically just normal kind of audio out connections. So on track 1, we've got the Electribe, which is just a normal standard jack lead connection going out of there. I think I've just got a single one out the left side for the mono. That's going onto the input. Actually, no, it's not going to the input of that. Let me just talk patch bays for a second, because what I've done on tracks 1, 2, 3 and 4, or channels 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the MX1, is they're going through the patch bay, which is down here. If you want to know how patch bays work, there's a video on my channel all about that. Basically, I've got more hardware than I have inputs for. So what I've done is I've taken the output from the patch bays. Basically 1, 2, 3 and 4 have outputs from the patch bays. Okay, from the patch bays channels 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these bits here, okay, are going to go into there. So what's happening is the Electribe is going, the cable's going from the Electribe sort of to the input of the patch bay, and then there's a cable coming from the patch bay into channel 1 of the MX1. So the audio from the Electribe is passing through the patch bay and then is coming into the MX1. I'll demonstrate how I use that in a second. Same thing with the Minilog, just the normal audio output cable going into the patch bay and then another cable coming out the patch bay into channel 2. MB33, it's not connected at the moment, but that passes through this distortion pedal, which then goes to the patch bay and then back to the MX1, and the Volca bass is also doing the same thing. It's going into the patch bay and then the cable coming out of those. So when it's in its normal unpatched state, the audio just passes straight through. So there's the audio from the Electribe going through 2, audio from the Minilog going into, Electribe's going into 1, Minilog's going into 2, MB33 going into 3, Volca bass is going into 4. I'll deal with the patch bay in a second. iPad is standard audio cable going into channel 5 on the MX1 5.6. And then the digital input is the Volca keys. I've got, which you can just about see, I think, just there, a analog to digital converter. Again, I've got a video on that on my YouTube channel about how to set that up, but that enables you to plug any normal standard jack output analog signal into the digital input and make use of that, because otherwise that just sits there doing nothing. So that's the Volca keys is going into there. So obviously I've got more hardware than I have inputs, as I mentioned before. The extra hardware I've got is, we've got this old Yamaha keyboard, which is quite nice for kind of like piano-y organ sounds. I've got the SPDS drum pads. I've got this Yamaha TMX rack-mounted drum module there, and I've got just a turntable down there. That's just if I want to listen to any records, vinyl, or gives me the option to sample it as well. So the inputs from those are going into the patch bay. So that's the turntable, that's the TMX, that's the Yamaha keyboard, and that's the SPDS. So at the moment I've got it into the I've got a cable there for the TMX for this. So all I would do to be able to patch that and route the sound from that into the MX1 is just plug it into one of these 4 inputs here. So if I want it to go through, say, channel 4 on the MX1, all I'm going to do is patch that into there, and the sound from that will now go through channel 4 on here. Obviously that blanks out the Volca bass then. That doesn't mean I can use the Volca bass with that, but it's unlikely that on any track I use I would be using all of these 4 and other stuff as well. And that's mainly from a recording point of view, because obviously I wouldn't take all this out for playing live. There's a few effects pedals over here that I've not got connected up at the moment, but they would just be routed through sort of in the normal way in the signal path. So hopefully that makes some sense and is a bit of interest to you just on the audio routing. It's a little bit more straightforward than the MIDI routing. If you've seen that video, you'll know that's crazily complicated. But yeah, that's how I work it, and that's how I work round having more inputs than I have connections on the mixer using a patch bay. Okay, thanks for watching. Usual things, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments box below. Any suggestions as well for future videos are always welcomed. I am now accepting PayPal donations. If anybody's feeling generous and they want to donate a little bit to keep the channel going, I'll put a link in the description where you can do that. There's also a link on my channel header. So yeah, any donations, however small, are greatly received. And please just go and listen to my music, stream it, buy it, and it helps me keep all this stuff going. Okay, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.